Hey guys, it's Leslie and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to have a quick discussion video just because it's something I've been thinking about lately, and I am curious on how you rate your books. How do you decide what gets a 5-star rating, what gets a 0-star rating, or 1 star? Are you harder on books? Have you become more critical? I know this is not a new discussion video, but I'm just curious on the people who watch my videos, what their opinions on this topic is. I feel like I judge books a couple different ways. The first is if it's a YA fantasy or like a YA fiction story, I should say, or an adult fiction. I'm fairly tough on those. I need to be engaged by the plot and the characters, and if one of those two are missing, I almost will always rate it lower than if both of those are really good. I think that those genres are the hardest to please me personally, but I also think they're the most abundant within like the reading opportunities we have. There's definitely just hundreds of thousands of titles that are adult fiction or YA fiction. I tend to be a lot easier on nonfiction books, particularly memoir or any like historical book that I've read. I also am easier on middle grade, and I'm okay with that. I think giving a middle grade story 5 stars to me just means I was entertained and I thought the story was cute or well written. I think that a middle grade story is written for a much younger audience than me, probably 20 years younger than me. So I don't expect it to dive deep in like character growth and all of these things. There certainly are books that are middle grade that do that, but I don't require that of a book that I read. I think that rating a book is super personal, and I understand that, but I think it also shares a lot about who I am as a reader and who you are as a reader based on how you rate certain books. I don't think that means just because our reading tastes don't align that that's a big deal, but I think it's important to see those things between ourselves as readers and reviewers. I think TheJordanJournals, her channel, reminds me, because she is someone who has said multiple times that she's very plot-driven reader. She likes a book with a fast-paced plot. She doesn't care that much about character development or like character-driven stories, I should say. I'm sure she cares a lot about character development. But I think that's interesting because as I've gotten a little bit older, I am much more interested in character-driven stories than I am plot-driven stories. But that's not bad. I like that I know that about her as a reader. When she rates a book 5 stars, I take into account, okay, this is 5 stars from her, and it probably has a really good plot. Am I in the mood for a good plot story? Awesome. I will read one of her recommendations. And I like that. I like knowing that about. Like, I know we can talk about like getting rid of ratings and that kind of thing, and I'm trying not to put too much emphasis on ratings anymore for my own personal reading. Like, I've put plenty of books at this day that have way below a 4-star average on my to be read page on Goodreads, which in the past I probably would have been like, this is only like an average of 3.2, probably not very good, but I don't know. I think I'm okay with it. So I'm just curious, how do you rate your books? Do you rate certain genres harder than others? Do you just go with one criteria of, am I entertained? Do you go with, does this have great characters? I don't know. What do you do? I find this very interesting, and I also think it's like a lot more personal than we realize. When I read someone's review on Goodreads, I'm like, okay, this person has issues with this, or this person needs this type of element within a book. And maybe for me, I don't care if that element is there or not. So, it's all about taking the ratings with a grain of salt. But I I don't know, I'm curious. And I keep saying that, but I am. So if you have any comments or you would like to discuss this, just leave them down below, and love to know how you rate your books and how it matters to you as a reader and as someone who is going to pick up another book. Other than that, that was really all I had today, but if this is a topic that's interesting to you, please feel free to comment. And until next time, bye.